The major difference in the different rondo forms, the first, second, and third rondo forms, is in the scope. They get larger and more expanded, but the principles that apply in the transitioning between sections is the same in all three. So we're not going to examine every section since we did that in the first rondo form. Now we're just going to look at the overall layout of the thematic material. So we'll take a look at first by a comparison of the first and second rondo forms.
So we can see here just how much larger the second rondo form is from the first. In fact, just about this point right here, minus the coda, the first rondo form fits into this part of the second rondo form. Now there's another interesting difference, and that is that there's two subordinate themes, or rather there's a subordinate theme and a subordinate theme prime in the second rondo form, as well as a retransition and then a second retransition. Because of this, the principal theme has to be different not only from the subordinate theme, but both of these themes must allow for enough expansion and variation so that there can be a subordinate theme prime that's quite a bit different from the subordinate theme from the beginning. And it varies not only in mood and character, in tonality, but also in rhythm, perhaps even in meter, tempo, dynamics, and other factors.
As I mentioned, there are very few fundamental differences between the forms other than the scope. One of the things especially to keep in mind, so that we don't have to study each first, second, and third rondo form so specifically individually, is the idea of tonal dissolution or thematic dissolution, dissolving one theme into the next. So what that means, which applies in all three forms, is when we have a larger section, such as a subordinate theme, followed by a smaller section, like a codetta, we have the option of either ending the larger section completely and beginning the smaller section separately, or we can dissolve the larger section so that the end of the larger section, the subordinate theme, acts as the beginning of the smaller section, the codetta in this case. So keeping that idea in mind will help us to understand all three forms more effectively.